Okay, are we? Niels is there. Great.
Yep, I'm here.
Hi, Niels. Good to hear from you. Okay, I'd like to call to order the Town of Ulysses Board of Zoning Appeals meeting for 15 April 2026. Members in attendance tonight so far are Cheryl Thompson, Andy Hillman, and me, Steve Morielli. Um, Also in attendance online is our town planner, Niels Tigeson, and here's our recorder, Lori Ashberschlager, who'll be documenting our proceedings tonight. Our town board liaison, Liz Weatherby, may be joining us later, maybe even remote or maybe here in person. Um, who else? Anybody else online there? Niels Tigerson online? That's it. Okay. Before we continue, does anybody have anything they'd like to contribute to tonight's agenda? Add, subtract, add, nothing? Okay, great, thanks. Lori?
No.
First item on the agenda is the review of the meeting minutes from 18 February 2026. I'd like to invite any edits, corrections, questions.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go.
Let's see, page 204, the sixth paragraph down where the larger paragraph that says. The overlook, if organic has porous concrete. I also said it has permeable asphalt, porous asphalt as well. So they have both porous concrete and asphalt there.
You want to tell Lori?
Or
Permeable.
No, it's good.
permeable or porous asphalt, either one works.
Hi, Karen.
Hi. Hi.
You could just say it has porous concrete and porous
Just
asphalt.
started. Okay.
Yeah.
First thing we're doing is the.
Excellent. That was on
Okay.
page 2, you said?
204, yeah.
I had,
Stick
we're just going over the minutes.
Okay, great.
We just started to.
Yeah.
And joining us right now is Karen Metter. I had one in the first paragraph. I think I just wanted to change one letter really. In the second paragraph, Hillman expressed. And you said Olson posted the sign on 2/7. However, the sign has since, just say had since. If you don't mind. Since fallen down.
Had, you changed it.
Yeah, had since.
It's just starting to go to the sign, yeah.
Course.
Steve, just a clarification on page 3 of 4, where it says. Liz Weatherby confirmed the backside of the property will be evergreens, possibly fruit trees. A fence in the back of the neighboring properties was not included in the donation agreement. And then I think, and then down at the bottom, it says Hill would like to add a condition to the resolution to have a fence on the neighboring property as requested by Sherman. We did that, right? It's not that I wanted to do it, we did it. And
I think you requested it and then later it was done, right?
And then does it say that, Tony? Does it have to say?
Board discussed changes to the resolution. It's in the resolution.
Including stipulations and conditions, so that was it, right?
It was included in those, yeah.
It's in there, right, Lori?
Yeah, it is.
Thanks.
I saw that too, and I was like, oh yeah, it's kind of left hanging, but it is in the resolutions. I remember it. Anything to add, Karen, on this, or did you want to?
No, thank you.
So,
I was a little stuck on that Weatherby confirmed paragraph, but I think that what Annie just said straightened it out for me. So
right.
okay.
Move to approve the minutes as modified.
Anybody second it?
Aye.
Okay, any further discussions on this? Okay, great. Let's take a vote on that. All approve?
Aye.
Aye.
That's unanimous. Motion carries. Thanks, and nice job, Lori. Very nice job. Appreciate it. Okay, now, first item of new business is a proposal by the applicant and property owner, Peter Houghton, who proposes to transfer approximately 0.13 acres from the subject property to the adjacent property to the north. That's 1355 Tagani Boulevard. The subject property is currently approximately 0.816 acres in area, where 2 acres is required per the code of town Ulysses CTU 212-47.b. And the proposal would further reduce the lot area to 0.689 acres. Per CTU 212-140.3.c.1, lot line alterations may not further increase the degree of nonconformity of nonconforming parcels, which these both are. But the address of the lot is 1349 Teganic Boulevard with the parcel number 28.1-13.2. Both lots are in the Lake Shore zone. And is the appellant here and a representative? You'll be representing yourself tonight?
Yes.
Okay, great. If you don't mind, you want to,
Mr. Chairman,
yeah, sure.
I just have I think a clarification. I think there's a mistake on the area variance application.
Okay, oh,
Where's this project description? I think it says, third line down, 55 linear feet of 1349 to get Boulevard Lake frontage is being sold to 1349 to get Boulevard. I think it should be,
it says 1349 to 1355. It should be
55. Yeah, it should be 1355 right there.
So it says it both.
Yeah, it just says going from 1349 to 1340.
Oh,
So.
yeah, I'm not sure what we do
This
to
is
change.
my-
Niels, what, how do we make, other than making a note of that publicly, what should we do with that?
We can just make that as a note in the minutes that was called out.
Need that as what?
I couldn't hear him.
Say that again. Did you hear, Lauren?
Yeah, no, that was not that.
If you can hear, so can you hear me now?
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, I think it's probably easiest and best if we just note that as in the minutes that was a correction.
oh, okay, great. So Lauren, if you could put that in.
Yep.
There's you got where it was?
Yep.
Would you say?
Can you say where that was again?
Yeah, it's project description on the area variance application,
Okay.
third line down. Section.
Thank you.
Not like this, I like the documents. Thanks, Andy. That was a good one. Yeah, the numbers are said so many times in there, I can see what it is. Yeah. Okay. Great, thank you. Do you want to come forward? Do you mind if you come forward and introduce yourself for the record and then
Peter Houghton.
and then if it you want to state your case to us, you go ahead and just state.
No, I'm actually the grantor and trustee
Mhm,
for the Houghton Cuba Legacy Trust, which is the actual legal owner of this parcel,
mhm.
created about 2 years ago. You've got all the documents, forms of documents, supporting documents are submitted. But I would like to briefly just touch on a couple of things. It's a very unique parcel. It's very long, lake frontage. Started out as part of a 1,200-foot lake frontage. It came with a fire my dad bought in 1929. Me and my mother decided, let's build a house on the lake. They were living in Ithaca at the time. And so they decided to do that. So he created a subdivision and created an 8-parcel subdivision, over 1,200 feet, of which the center portion was the large parcel for the homestead lot, and 4 parcels to the south and 3 parcels to the north. He created and filed for the subdivision. They began building in the mid-30s during the Depression. He also began selling off the other adjacent lots there. He put the home, the dwelling, and all the supporting features for the dwelling, the driveway, the leach field, and the dock, and the beach and the beach stairs, all in the southern sector of that parcel. The north sector, he left vacant. He certainly could have created another lakefront lot up there at the time, 1930s. He could have split off another 3 or 4 tenths of an acre and acre 90 feet of lake frontage. But he kept that because he wanted to go into the farm produce roadside market business. Was decided that there was a new construction from 89 and the expansion at Tagatic Falls State Park. There was going to be a lot of traffic between Ithaca and State Park. So he developed a parking lot off the east side of the new highway, and then a produce stand was on the edge of the parking lot further. But in back of that parking lot, in back of the produce stand, he had to leave vacant. He could not split that off as a building lot because he needed the road frontage for the produce sales. And so there it sat, vacant and not used. And it remained that way for about 40 some years, from the late 30s through the early 80s. It was a very popular and very productive enterprise on his part. From mid June until December, sometimes with Christmas trees, of selling his produce and vegetables and fruits on a roadside market. So it stopped in the early 1980s. My sister then bought the parcel, gave our parents life use of it to help them out financially. She did that, and they held the mortgage. And then after they passed, she moved there herself and made it her permanent residence in the late 1980s. And I lived in the homestead house until about 2022. And I bought it from her in early of 2023 and then created the trust for my children. So that's the background of that, of why it's such an odd shaped parcel. It's not very deep because Route 89 is very close to the lake there, but it is very long. It has 330, well, it started out with 381 feet of lake frontage. At the time I bought it for my sister, it was 336 feet of lake frontage and 340 some feet of road frontage, 8,200 of an acre. After I bought it, I realized this is just wasted space at the north end. There's actually a beautiful lakefront building lot up here that somebody should do something with. So I made an appointment with Niels and met with him. This was a couple of years ago. Saying, what are my options? What can I do? Could I subdivide and make a whole new freestanding building lot and market that? And he said, well, technically, possibly, but the Lakeshore Zone had been created by then and then amended in 2019. And there was many restrictions for development and construction. And so he said, perhaps a better use would be, there's plenty of room there to put up one of these alternate secondary dwellings. There's a lot of space for that. And then he advised me of this lake lot line alteration capability. He said you can actually subdivide off a piece of it, but you can't market it in general to the general public. You can market it only to the abutting property owner. So I discussed that with the property owners, and they did have an interest. And so in the end, we agreed upon 55 feet of lake frontage would be split off the top, which would still leave me, at the time the dwelling was built, from the dwelling to the north boundary was 175 feet. I had all this vacant property with nothing on it. After the produce stand was removed, the tables were removed, and the sales stopped 40 some years ago. So I met with the neighbors. They were very interested. They have a very small lot. They have less than a third of an acre with 90 feet of frontage and 78 feet of road frontage and 90 feet of lake frontage. And this would increase their lot size by 42% up to 4,400 of an acre, increase their lake frontage up to 145 feet, and the road frontage comparably also. So a lot of benefits there. Two important benefits also that have nothing to do with the lot size is the fact that they have a zoning violation up there with the garage being too close to a side boundary line. The north boundary, my north boundary, and their south boundary. It's in non-conforming with the zoning code. And more importantly, it's also non-conforming with the original deed that was drawn in 1935 when my dad sold the lot, where he wrote into the deed restrictions as to how close a structure could be to any property line. And this violates that also. So this lot line alteration will clear up those two things immediately. And going forward would be a clean slate as far as those two violations, besides giving great benefit to the property owners themselves as far as extra lake frontage and lot size. But hey, I decided to look into, well, what's the detriment to me, the downside, and couldn't find anything. Yes, it would reduce the size of my lot. So I did my own neighborhood evaluation as to what what that would mean. My neighborhood is the Maplewood Point up to Crowbar Point, up to the Girl Scout Gate. It's about a mile of lakefront properties. And most of them very small lots. And there's 46 residential waterfront properties in that mile stretch. And at 8,200 of an acre, 1349 is the sixth largest. Reducing it to 0.69 of an acre makes it the ninth largest. Very, very little change in the whole hierarchy of lot size. The waterfront, the code there, oh, by the way, there are no conforming lot sizes in that whole mile stretch of 2 acres or more. The biggest one is 1.4 acres, and half of them are under half of it. So the other factor is the waterfront. The code says there 250 feet, and 1349 has 336. And there's another parcel with 251. Only 2 are conforming out of the whole 46. And again, taking off 55 feet from 336 still leaves me with 281 feet, which is conforming. And it's still the largest waterfront lot in the whole neighborhood. And I'm sure it's probably one of the largest waterfront lots in the whole county of Listens. Road frontage is the same thing. 2 conforming, 1349 being 1 and the largest. We dropped down by 55 feet from 342 minus 55, and it's still conforming even after this lot line adjustment. So I looked at that as there's really no change in the neighborhood characteristics or the hierarchy of lot sizes to speak of by doing this lot line alteration. Now, the other thing I looked at that I know your board considers is the environmental ecology and physical activity that could disrupt things in the neighborhood with a variance. Well, in this case, there is none. It's been in my family for 97 years. It's been unused and vacant for 97 years behind the old produce stand. Produce stand is gone. Tables are gone. And it's just sitting there as unused vacant property. And the variance is not going to create any physical alteration of the property. There'll be no excavations, no drainages, no vegetation removal, nothing. So I couldn't see any issues there. I wanted to do that myself in order to see if there are any huge red flags that were going to pop up. If there were, then I would not pursue the application to get a variance in the first place. But I couldn't find anything that the criteria that you folks look at as to the impact on the neighborhood and on the community of this particular variance request. Because it's the only physical alteration that will be made are 4 new survey pits that will move the property line from where it is now, just off the back of the neighbor's garage, southerly 55 feet. And there's a property pin. It's all been surveyed. Along the road boundary line, there's a property pin. With the lake shore, there's a property pin at the high water mark. And then 2 in between. And with the vegetated cover that's on the property now, trees and undergrowth, and you're gonna hunt to find them. But there are new for these kids. That really is the only alteration to the parcel that's being transferred. I could not find any reason to not pursue this lot line alteration. Because it just bothered me that there was so much property. And if you're talking to Neil's fine about it, it would be very difficult to try to get through a subdivision because of all the building code and zoning code and planning, that sort of thing. So this seemed to be a good balance that I would keep a large buffer north of the old residence. there'll still be about 120 feet there between the residence and the new property line. There's 175 feet now to the existing property line, which if someday in the future, some, my children or whoever would like to have a secondary residence, there's certainly enough space to do that. And if they don't, it just creates a nice buffer to the adjoining neighbor to the north. And then the lot line alteration certainly benefits the neighbor's property. So that's it in a
That's
nutshell.
great.
What I have for you, there are a couple of photos that were included. Do you have those in your
Yes.
Yep,
package?
we do.
Right, but I do have a third photo that I'd like to share with you, which I think puts the whole thing into perspective. And this is taken from the lake, looking up to the parcel. Oh,
Uh-oh.
Oh.
That didn't sound good.
there are two red lines. They're the approximate boundaries of now the 336 feet. And it shows the old homestead sitting about in the center.
Mhm.
And then there's a black line that I drew, which would be the new boundary line.
Right.
But in the grand scheme of lakefront properties, it's still a massive and impressive lakefront lot, even with this lake size reduction.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Houghton. We're gonna,
And if you have any concerns or questions?
we're gonna ask him in a little bit. Let me just ask a couple questions to, I guess, Niels and maybe Lori. This was just, I noticed this was distributed to the neighborhood,
Yes,
sent out, and how about the sign? I saw the one there myself. Was that that's been up the whole time?
Yes, yeah, it's still.
I know,
I
I know. Did you go by?
did.
Sign was in your life.
Thank you.
Good. I not sure if I have any other questions right now, but were there any, oh, I know what it was. Were there any public comments, letters, written comments?
I didn't.
Any that I didn't see? Or,
I would have doubted it because I am the landowner.
yeah, but anybody
To
in
the
this
south.
area, anybody can.
I know they can, and to the north, obviously, as
Right.
Mr. McCann and Mr. Chalmers at 1355. The place next to them is empty. The place next to the empty place is also empty. So if you go north, several hundred feet, there's
Yeah,
really
but
no
that
neighbor.
sign, I just want to correct it. The sign is there for everybody.
Yeah, everybody
who
can-
drives by, anybody who
Yep,
has
any walker. Anyone walking, driving,
Yeah, right.
walking their dog, if this is approved, they're not gonna notice any change whatsoever.
Mhm.
With the fact that this parcel of 55 feet has changed ownership hands. That's really the crux of my request for approval.
Okay, I now want to open the public portion of the hearing in case anybody wants to
Yeah.
pipe in. I think we had it. Niels, you have a hand up online?
Yeah, I just wanted to answer a question. So no, we did not receive any public comment.
Oh, okay, great, thank you. Any comments from the public? We'll open it up for a little bit for short comments and relevant comments to this case only. Not much action online over in Zoomlandia. Anybody here in the audience? Great, thanks. Okay, I'm going to close the public portion of the hearing, and I really want to open it up to the board here to ask questions of you or discuss things with you, and then
Sure.
so let's open that up.
Well, I'll just say I think this was very convincingly and succinctly presented.
Good job.
Yes, I mean, I kind of just agree with everything he presented. That yes, there's non-conformance. I think the only question that would kind of come up to my mind would be, does the expansion of the lot to the north result in anticipated building, but that's really open to a subsequent variance. So, so I don't think that really, needs to be addressed here, because I don't think the addition of the road frontage or the lake frontage or the amount of acreage, if, they plan to expand the house or build something else, they would still need to get a variance because of the lot size being non-conforming. So I don't think that there's any concern about addressing that, recognizing that a subsequent variance would be presented.
In fact, obviously, the comfort aspect of a larger lot, like footage, you could go in kayaking, swimming, is the fact it cleans up two violations. By moving that property line southerly, all of a sudden the garage, rather than being non-conforming, being too close to the property line from the zoning code, is not any. 60 feet away from the property line. And the same, and the bigger issue, the same with the deed. Legal deed that the dad wrote up in 1935, when he first owned the lot. Is a neat, well, it was foresighted, and he didn't want structures right on top of the property lines. So he wrote that right into the deed, and it runs with the land. And so when McCann's and Mr. Chalmers bought it, it's in their deed that this is, but their attorney indicated that it was not enforceable anymore because so much time had passed without objection. But that's a legal issue, it may or may not. But this cleans all that up. All of a sudden now the garage is well off the property line. Plus the property line's been 55 feet. So that to me, that legal part of the benefit is the issue.
Will you go over that first one again? Will you tell me what that first one was again? You said there are two things you cleaned up in the first one.
They're both the garage, but one is in the zoning and one is in
It's the
the.
same garage. The same garage.
But it's
restrictions
it's not in danger of anything very until you change it. I mean, that first one is not really
Oh.
The
no one's-
garage is too close to the line from a zoning. The setback from the
right,
side.
but if you don't change anything, that won't ever come to.
Or it's going to dispute. Because now that boundary line is going to be there. Boundary line.
Well, I get that. You're talking about conformance. It's conforming, you're gonna turn it into one less non-conforming issue.
Right.
If you do that. It's not really gonna be enforced right now because it can't be enforced because it's a non-conforming law.
It's a non-conforming line.
Right. So that's not really cleaning up that any kind of.
Well, that's what
issue.
he was pointed out to me. If I try to go the subdivision.
If you try to, right,
And open it up for a
it'll
market
open,
value,
then it would open that up. right?
that would really open up
Agreed.
my
Right.
age.
I'm not arguing with you, I'm just correcting that, for the record. Okay, I do wanna, Andy?
Yeah, because are you planning a new driveway for the potential new building?
I have no new boat.
Oh, okay,
There's a driveway there for the old homestead.
okay.
That's all on the
I
south end.
misunderstood, I thought you, sorry, I don't know, sorry.
The south end is for
Structure.
dad position, the building, the dwelling, driveway, the beach field. And then right in front of the house, the beach stairs and dock and all that is all at the south end of this large, as I say, one time it was 380 some feet. It got reduced 10 years ago to 336, which is still more than a football field. And it still will be a massive lakefront lot. And it's still not conforming. And the fact that 99% of the lakefront lots in the town of Ulysses are non-conforming to lot size. That was put in place when they put the zoning code in.
The garage was built by preceding,
The preceding owner, my father sold it in 35, to the Bartos, I think there's a couple of other owners. But then the John and Judy, help me out, folks. McPherson's bought it, and they put the garage up. And my dad, I think the garage, well, I think perhaps my dad had passed by then. And my sister, who was living there, wasn't even aware there was any deed restriction, so. I wasn't either, till I pulled out the old deeds and found it. So yes, it was the McPherson's that built the garage. that made it too close to the their south property line, and now that whole issue disappears.
Sheriff,
I think it's a good idea. Sounds like a winning scheme all the way around, but I did want to just, since you raised the idea of an accessory dwelling unit, just, I know it's tangential to your actual application, but I just kind of wanted to check in with Niels that this lot line adjustment isn't going to be stopping you from doing that, because there is
No,
an area,
The zoning allows it.
there is an
wait,
area
we want to
requirement.
talk to Niels. She's talking to Niels on.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's good. I just want to hear from Niels.
Yeah, so, because if you do have that in mind as a possibility, it's good to.
I don't have it.
Well, you mentioned it. So,
It allows me, the amount that I am selling off to the neighbors leaves me with a big enough parcel, we can tell by the picture, a big enough parcel left to easily fit in an accessory dwelling if I'm not going to do it. My children will inherit it through the trust.
well, it looks big enough, but I don't know if it actually is big enough according to
I think the question is because of the lot size
the zoning.
being,
Lot
Even-
coverage.
But I would like to
the
hear from
size,
Niels
yeah.
before we keep going back and forth
Yeah,
with
go ahead.
applicant. Niels, you want to weigh in on this one?
So the Peter's
George is-
property.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
So yeah, Peter's property, the only thing that it's going to do is reduce, if approved, the lot line alteration would just reduce the lot area. It wouldn't make it non-conforming for lot coverage. So I haven't gone through the calculations because, this isn't currently on the proposal. We'd have to look at lot coverage requirements if
Yeah.
a detached structure wanted to go on there. But we also don't know what zoning code is going to be like in the near future after the comp plan update, right? Things could change potentially.
That's always
Um,
true, though. That's not an argument for anything. I don't like that argument.
Yeah. And the other thing is ADUs can be attached, right? Not necessarily detached. So, and at the end of the day, he's still going to have to get planning board approval regardless. So it would still go through review is what I'm getting at too.
Right, so Karen's point was a good one, which is like, it's gonna go through this, through the review anyway, and probably through variance, right?
Most likely. Yeah.
Did that answer your question at all?
Yeah, I just wish I remembered what the requirements for the ADUs are, like, I thought there was an lot area requirement, but whatever.
There
It's,
is, so what's, so is it 5% for Lakeside?
well,
Lakeshore,
not lot
yeah.
coverage, but I'm not talking about lot coverage, I'm talking about the actual area of the lot.
Oh, yeah, got it.
But whatever, it's fine. As long, you're right. It's not happening now, so we can't really plan for it. So thank you.
We can plan for it though. So on this 1, 2, 3 now have come into the territory. The only note I had on it. Thank you very much. Good presentation, and it's really interesting and even fun to hear some of the old history. Not too old. It's just
Well, that's why it's ended up with such a large parcel of
yeah,
land.
yeah, and I like your statistics are good. They're very informative and helpful in this because it helps us kind of picture it. And although we all drive by there all the time, and I look at aerial stuff all the time, it points out some of the points that we would have made anyway. Does it change the nature of the character of the neighborhood and all that stuff? Okay, so I do have the thing that it kept hitting was that you said nicely that this will remain as it has been for 97 plus years. So that section there is going to remain wooded.
Well, as I'm selling it, it's remaining.
Yeah. Okay, so
If
I would like it
neighbors
to-
wish develop it someday, they'll have to come back and present their plans.
or not, as Neil said, some things change and all that. I think it would be a little, if you said, I want to do this, I want to put a house up right there right now. I would have real issues, personally would have issues with it. And just because other houses are there and tightly packed in along the hill slope there and along the lakefront.
Well, that's the nature of the neighborhood.
And it is the
Yeah,
nature.
and-
Just because it is, doesn't mean it's amenable to hydrology and ecology.
Right.
It's not. And I think That's part of the reason why the new zoning rules have kicked in. And so I'm honoring the desires of the comprehensive plan, the last one, the one we're currently in. And we talked about this a lot of people talked about it. And jamming things in up to the lake will create what we see in a lot of the other lakes, and in fact, up the lake in different.
Well, I can assure you that the chipmunks and the rabbits and the occasional possum
Mhm.
and the snakes and the birds and the
They're liking it right now,
squirrels,
right?
they're in there now.
Okay.
And
And I'm
they
worried
will-
about
they will
water.
be undisturbed. The only
Yeah.
disturbance they had was the surveyor coming through there and putting 4 new pins in.
Yeah.
And
So-
now it's all back
And
to,
that sounds like you're diminishing some of that stuff, but what I'm saying is, some of the big issues are water coming out of that hill and erosion and slides. And the more we, construct, the more hardened surfaces we put in there, the more of a problem it is. Okay, so there are other issues than squirrels. I would feel really comfortable if everyone had your sentiment, which is it's not going to change. It will stay. So I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say about this, but if you said I would be willing to put that into the deed restriction, that will stay unchanged, I would be for it immediately.
I can't do that.
Okay.
I can't do that.
And I wanted to test you out on that one and see where you
I
stood.
can't do that.
It's
It's 1,300 of an acre.
Yeah.
It increases the neighbor's value of their property. Is it big enough to do something as a stand? No, it isn't. So anything that the neighbors wish to do with it after they purchase it would have to come before your board, come before your planning board,
Mhm.
and then come before the zoning board for variances if they wish to do any improvements to it. Right now, in my discussions with them, when we were dealing with setting up the purchase offer, they indicated they had no plans to do anything with it. I mean, they were looking at as a protection buffer on their south side
Mhm.
in case I didn't do this spot line alteration with them. And I decided to sell a whole parcel right up to the 5 feet of the back of their garage to another party. And if that party had enough clout and enough consulting engineers and attorneys, they may end up doing so. And the neighbors did not want that. So they agreed to purchase this as a part of a buffer for their own lot.
So Niels, how many, I'm always concerned about how many dwelling units or structures we can put on a land once we do this. So how many more could we put on the parcel B if we increase the size there?
For parcel B.
Parcel B is the north,
Yep.
1355.
1355, yeah, and what are their rights to put structures on that new chunk?
So the parcel B is about, say, according to the assessors, it's about a third of an acre. So the lot coverage limits it currently to 678. The lot line adjustment would help remediate. So one of the other issues, it's not just the garage setback, it's also lot coverage for lot B. So this would make the lot more non-conforming for lot coverage. But as far as the zoning code is concerned, you can do an ADU, and you can do a duplex, but both of those would require site plan review by the planning board. If anything were to increase lot coverage over 5%, then it would also require a variance.
Right.
So zoning code, just to answer your question, zoning code allows for up to a duplex and a detached or an accessory dwelling unit.
You
The way it
said,
is right now.
Correct.
What was that? Pete?
yeah, what did he
All right,
say?
say that again. It allows for what? The current, as it stands right now, it allows for,
The uses permitted in the Lakeshore Zone for parcel B would allow a duplex and an accessory dwelling unit.
Wow.
even on that lot size, the current third of an acre, less than a third of an acre. Is that true?
Those are the uses permitted. So for development standards, when we're talking setbacks and lot coverage,
Yeah.
anything that didn't comply would need a variance.
Yep, got it. And then if it goes up to 0.44 acres, then they might be more able to squeeze in another unit. possibly.
Well, a property owner could take the existing dwelling unit and convert it to a duplex without changing any footprint.
And what about the accessory building?
So
You could
sort of the
go-
same thing, same thing,
Yeah.
like if they wanted to change the basement into an ADU, they could do that. If they wanted to do a detached, they'd have to get both BZA and planning board approvals.
Okay,
Sounds like the lot coverage will kind of take care of what
For
you're
now,
worried
yeah.
about, yeah.
I'm always worried about the future and setting things off, and I think that it's, I'm torn between giving, kind of freedom of options to the landowners and putting things in the right places, especially on the lakefront. Um, and I think competing with that is putting stuff on that steep slope, putting more on it, not paying attention to water that's getting, anybody knows it's been raining a lot lately and a lot over the last few years. We're getting a lot of water movement off there. And I'm concerned about all that stuff. So those are competing things for me. It'd be nice to be able to, as you say, fill in that empty space or whatever, so there's plenty of room there for another unit. So if you're the next people that have control over your land are also desiring to build a unit, and this new space in the 1355 also allows them to build another unit, then we have two, and so I'm always trying to look at that in a holistic way.
Or you'd be looking at it with variance requests.
You would, yeah, under the current rules.
Under the current,
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I understand.
I also, I
heeded
forgot
it
in my
when-
remarks, I did do a calculation. Even with the reduction of my property from 8200s to 6900s,
Mhm.
the dwellings that I have there still is well under the 5%. Footprint.
Yeah, I kind of checked that out. You don't seem to be in.
Yeah, it doesn't change,
Mhm,
it doesn't make that non-conforming because of the footprint.
mhm. So, can I ask you what the neighbors, what you think they're gonna do with that property?
The red behind.
Oh, hi, thanks.
We
Thanks
have
for coming.
no Plans, he approached us, we were concerned because he said that he might be able to do something else with the property. We're very close.
Yeah.
We were aware of a deed violation from the day we purchased the land.
Right.
That was brought up by the lawyer. It didn't seem to be much of a problem, but all violations seem to be a problem if the neighbor wants them to be. So we've always been concerned about the fact that with less than 5 feet from his property.
Right.
They annually, they post their property, which we always thought was noticeable.
Mhm.
And so when he offered to sell us original 60 feet, and it went down to 55 because he was concerned about size change. We just thought we call it Kingfisher Cove. Every year, the kingfishers nest in the cliff there. We love it, and this would protect Kingfisher Cove and would give us no violations. And that was actually a
Yeah.
problem during the purchase. The only reason we bought the property was that someone backed out of it because of some of the legal issues.
Oh.
And we could not get a mortgage because there seemed to be
Oh, really?
deed violations. Well, we didn't go far.
Yeah.
We were very interested in the purchase. And so as soon as this other person dropped out for whatever reason, some of the neighbors on the lake seemed very difficult. I think there was some difficulty with one of the neighbors with the new purchaser.
Mhm.
And he dropped out, and we were told he dropped out, and we immediately jumped. So basically,
Lucky for
we
you.
see it,
That's good.
we see it as a addition to the property that exists. It's extremely small lot.
Yeah.
It gives us a little bit of room. She's an artist. She's actually painted the Kingfisher area. So we just really like that. We were really concerned about the possibility of somebody. He's talked about the possibility of the children maybe selling one of the two pieces of property someday. Then you might get someone with a lot of money who would get very aggressive and might put a dock in closer to us. This stops anything like that. We have a dock. We're happy with what we have. So it seems like a win-win
We
situation.
want to
right?
preserve the area as well as.
Great. Thank you. Thanks.
Yeah.
It was a good fortune on your part. Somebody else dropped out too. That's kind of nice, right?
Very.
Thanks, that helps a lot. It's kind of, we like to balance out the benefit and weigh the benefit and potential detriments and things like that, so that's clearly a big benefit to you guys, seems to me. And you don't have to promise right now that you're not gonna build and, put a dwelling on that or anything, but I really like your the sentiment that you put through. Where do we want to go with this, guys? Anybody have something?
I mean, I feel like we've heard enough, that there aren't any objections to the neighbors, and even if you try to put yourselves in their shoes and ask, could they have a reason to have an objection? It seems like, as it's already been described, it's only beneficial, and any changes would require a variance, and I think the movement of the lot is actually, to address your concerns, I think a little bit, is actually probably to reduce the chances that another dwelling goes in what is currently.
That's a point that I caught from that.
Yeah.
The
So I see only positive benefit to this, to both the owners, the new owners, and the general public.
Mhm. Thanks, Dan. Andy?
Yeah, I was just looking at, any language, adding language, in these, resolutions. I'm in favor of this as well. I see a mistake, a typo in the first whereas. I think it just should be a singular variance. It says a request for one area variances.
Variance is, right?
Yeah, it should be a single variance.
Mhm.
They don't.
Yeah, I know, I didn't skip over. Get that, Lord.
Yeah.
Does somebody want to take this on?
Sure.
Monkey wants.
Do you want me to start, where it says now therefore be resolved, or shall I read where it started, whereas, since it's here? Yeah,
No, I think that, no, therefore, I think that. It goes back there.
okay. Thanks.
Is this a motion? Are you think making a motion?
Yeah, right, I moved that we, move this variance. After considering adding language to the factors, statutory factors. As this is sort of.
Yeah.
So considering all the statutory factors set above, the Board of Zoning Appeals finds the following. The benefit to the applicant, the granting of the area variance to reduce the lot area of the subject property from 0.816 acres to 0.689 acres. Will outweigh the detriment to the health, safety, and welfare. Any,
Looks like you had any.
yeah,
anything
do
to
we
that?
want to add anything, I mean, it seems to
And
be.
then I want to remind everybody, we're not doing any conditions of approval, which is always a nice way to say. that.
Yeah.
Oh,
We're not doing any conditions. I will consider what, it seems to preserve, the locally called, Kingfisher Cove.
I'm-
But I
There,
don't think we need.
there is a idea that improves one of the lots, but I think that's just part of the
Yeah.
deal, so we don't have to talk about it necessarily.
So, okay, the granting of the area variance will not create an undesirable change in the character of the neighborhood and will not be a detriment to nearby properties. In fact, it will remediate or it will,
It will benefit and
break,
reduce the
non-conforming.
nonconformance of the adjacent property to the north.
It'll reduce the non-conforming?
Yeah.
Some of the non-conforming.
Can you tell Lori that?
What,
And-
do you want a new sentence right there? It be a detriment, will not be a detriment to nearby properties.
Yeah,
And then you could say, in fact, it will be a benefit to the adjoining property to the north by reducing its current nonconformance.
Okay, I got to the north. What's the rest?
By reducing its current nonconformance.
Get a word, nonconformity.
I think so.
Nonconformity. There's also some. Undesirable change. I'd like to bring in some of the statements that you brought in were good, so can we bring in some sentiment from that? These are gonna change the nature of the neighborhood, in fact, these are bigger. One lot is bigger than all the rest of them, and those statistics are pretty true.
Do you wanna just let Andy finish up and then we add at the end?
Yeah, that's,
Okay.
that was the point I wanted to bring into that number two, that, it'll bring non-conforming building into
Okay,
conformance with both the deed and zoning.
I like when we do it going along, don't you?
Okay.
Keep going, or what? We're gonna add anything else there about
I don't think it'll change the character of the neighborhood. I didn't think that from the beginning, and I definitely don't think it now, if anything.
right. The benefits sought by the applicant,
Yeah,
it can be achieved, well, the benefits sought,
Yeah, I would say it cannot be achieved by another.
like feasible.
Right,
Feasible.
because, I mean, the effect of this is simply to enlarge one lot and decrease another. I don't see how you could achieve that by any other method.
right?
I agree with that. I just didn't see this one as coming into this.
I mean, it's not really that important, probably, in terms of the issues, but addressing the standard questions, that's how I would address it.
I agree. Cannot, you agree with that?
Yes.
This is a motion.
Yep. Number four, the requested area variance. This substantial.
You could just add, but importantly, as noted by the other points, it doesn't change the character of the neighborhood, so.
I like the line, it's reducing diminishing the non-conformity.
Yeah.
The number of non-conformities of this.
Do we want to say something more about the requested area variance being substantial? Like as a however. These are some like was still, yeah, was still having, yeah, it was non-conforming, was still the largest, there's still a lot of water frontage.
Yeah, right. Yeah, how do you say that? I think it's fine.
If you're going in that direction, I would say the requested area variance is substantial, but it reduces the nonconformance to the adjacent property, and it doesn't change any of the conformance of the current property.
I like that.
You like to worry about waterfront.
You got that, okay?
I need some, I need it to be repeated. Do you want but or however?
Either one.
Okay, I had however already.
However is good.
So, okay, yes. However, it reduces the non-conformance to the adjacent property and does not change the.
Character.
Okay. Does not change the character of the, what was it?
Well, I think what Karen said was it does not diminish the.
Does not
conformance.
diminish the conformance of the current property or the subject property.
Which one?
Yeah.
Yes,
First one.
Does not diminish the,
conformance of the subject property or
Okay.
parcel A, however
okay.
you want to state that.
You don't need diminish,
Does not,
increase, which.
it does not, doesn't change it.
Conformance, okay, yeah, I was thinking non-conformance.
Yeah.
Thank you. Well,
Proposed area, number 5, the proposed area variance will not have an adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental conditions in the neighborhood or district. And again, I don't know if we have a lot to add to that because we don't know what the future may bring. But as far as this particular variance goes, it's not going to have any immediate adverse effect at all that I could see. But I'm open to considering any adding on the language there. Aaron, do we have anything for that? Okay.
I think that's one's fine as clearly stated.
Yeah, and alleged difficulty is self-created.
Yeah. It's new. Did I,
Or, yes,
should we somewhere, I still think we haven't said about the amount of waterfront and the amount of road front.
was that going to go into number 4?
It's gonna go into something, I would like it to go into somewhere. You remember 4 requested variance was, no, 4 is substantial, right?
Yeah, that's about substantial and it's.
Adverse effect and impact of physical, or is it just character?
What would you want to say there? Like, I think 5, you mean? Not having adverse effect on it, impact on environmental conditions, neighborhood or district and. The,
That's physical and environmental, so that's kind of, it's more back to character though, isn't it? You have continuing a good long stretch of road frontage, you get good long stretches of, and longer stretches.
I mean, I think that would just be adding additional detail to the summary point I made that it reduces
Yeah, I
non-conformant to
think
the
it's
north
there.
and maintains current conformance for the current property. And so then if you want to follow it
Yeah,
by
yeah.
the specific
That's
of
where I thought it might
of
go, right?
specifically, the property to the north will reduce its lake frontage by and road frontage by X, whatever that math is, and the current property will be reduced, but still above the 250 feet required.
And then it's always, yeah, but you're increasing the other one, so there's always that thing, it's like, yeah, which is more important, I think that. I don't know how to say it, without having.
Well, that's why
Paragraph.
I didn't know if it's necessary. I think you can just keep it at the high level, but if you want to add the detail, you probably want to just specify the dimensions.
Yeah, I think it's all embedded in there, and that's the
Right.
issue. But that's, I like to have on paper some of the things that lead to our decisions, and that's one that leads to my decision. Like, oh, we're not saying we're gonna.
But that's in the
chop up-
minutes, right?
So what were you
Yeah.
saying?
We're not chopping up the smaller, making smaller segments of the beachfront
Right.
in a way that's egregious, and road frontage isn't changing much, but I care more about the lakefront.
yeah, I think so on number 2, the character of the neighborhood, I think you could say that. The lake frontage of these 2 parcels, the total lake frontage combined remains the same.
Same. I like that. Thank you very much. It probably just captures a little bit of sentiment, but
Yeah, up in number 2, Lori,
Amen.
another sentence,
Yeah.
I say,
At the end, like
yeah,
after the other one.
yeah,
The lake frontage of these 2 parcels remains the same.
yeah, thank you.
Combined. 2 parcels.
Combined parcels remains the same. Okay. For the reasons said above and upon the evidence law of facts, the CCA hereby does grant the area variance to reduce the lot size of the subject property from 8.6 acres to 0.689 acres. As described above, and as shown in the survey map, noted above as part of the proposed lot line alteration application located at 1349.
After we found that we can't change them in the minutes, right? It's relevant.
Going back.
Do you want me to read it with the additions?
Yeah, please, yes.
I'm just reading those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay.
The benefit to the applicant in the granting of the area variance to reduce the lot area of the subject property from 0.816 acres to 0.689 acres will outweigh the detriment to the health, safety, and welfare of the neighborhood. Did I get that one right, Bill?
Sounds good.
Yes, and I would just add one more thing, and this comes from my medical training. You never put a decimal point without having a preceding zero, because
Yep.
particularly over
I
time,
put it all in my notes too.
you might not be able to see the decimal. A zero helps to show that there's really a decimal
I
there.
had the zeros, 2
Yeah,
zeros
right.
there. Okay, all right, so number 1 is set. Okay, I'm gonna go to number 2. The granting of the area variance will not create an undesirable change in the character of the neighborhood and will not be a detriment to nearby properties. In fact, it will be a benefit to the adjoining property to the north by reducing its current nonconformance. The lake frontage of these 2 combined parcels remains the same. Good?
Yes.
The benefit sought by the applicant cannot be achieved by some method feasible for the applicant to pursue other than an area variance. Okay. This is number 4, the requested area variance is substantial. However, it reduces the non-conformance to the adjacent property and does not diminish the conformance of the subject property. It's good? That and
Mhm.
So it seems like then you should say, so it is desirable or something, doesn't it? To make it make sense, or does
Did you
it?
say in fact, wasn't at the beginning of that
Yeah.
sentence?
However, it reduces the non-conform because it was the area variance is substantial.
I think that's fine.
Okay,
However,
all right,
right?
I'm fine with it. Everyone else is?
This is number 5. The proposed area variance will not have an adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental conditions in the neighborhood or district. And then number 6, the alleged difficulty is self-created. And then does that.
The last one.
But you didn't make any changes there. You selected does grant.
Yes.
Just the decimal point would
I
be the
will
same
add
thing.
those
Oh,
there.
yeah, yeah.
Yes.
So the last one has a does though.
Yes.
Yes, she
The BZA hereby does grant. And I add the zeros. Before the
For
decimal.
all of them, yeah.
Cool.
It's funny, Karen, I put zeros in front of all of them because of everything. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, 11, yeah, 11. Okay, there was a motion, there's a second to
Who
we're all set
seconded?
with
Does
discussion?
anybody remember?
Pardon?
Who seconded it?
I'll second it. I don't
Second
think,
the motion? Yeah,
I don't
think we did.
I don't, yeah.
I think you're right.
but I will.
Thanks for reminding. Ready to call the vote? I'm ready. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, it's unanimous and the motion carries. Variance is granted. Thank you. Thanks. Thanks a lot.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Still on the,
He's up there.
what are my steps from here on now? What do I need to do to consummate this transaction with the neighbor?
You don't need to do anything. I will get with the BZA approval, I can get this approved, and you just need to get me 2 hard copies by the surveyor that's been stamped.
You need how many?
2.
2 hard copies of what size? 11 by 17, so you need the great big ones.
The county, I believe, accepts 11 by 17.
So you need those stamped. And then on those surveys, there's a place for you sign and it's approved and date and all that sort of thing.
Yep.
So then I need to get copies of those back from you to submit to the county clerk and to the my attorney and all that. The ones that where it shows if it's been approved. By the top. How do I do that?
Okay, so the audio was a little glitchy there. If you can get me 2 hard copies, I can get those signed, and then you can retrieve them and then record them at the county.
Oh, okay. Oh, thank you.
Well said, Mr. Houghton. Thank you very much. That was good. Nice presentation too.
Yes.
Good luck. Forward, the Kingfishers come back every year.
Yeah.
Kingfisher
Yeah.
Cove.
Yeah, I love it. Where's your
The
art?
squirrels and the possums and the chipmunks, they all come back.
So,
They never leave.
yeah,
They will be, yeah.
so you were actually acquiring Kingfisher Cove then, is that right?
They're acquiring Kingfisher.
Just
Sweet.
south of your parcel.
Yeah.
Yeah, right there, that right, you have a little beach and right now it's on the water.
Yeah,
Yeah.
always something to
Wait,
think about.
minor floodlit.
Yeah, we're at flood level, right?
Minor flood. Not real serious.
Go back.
Good luck.
So
Thank
I'm
you.
gonna get another 2 inches of rain.
I know.
Yeah, there's no way, you can't really just let it out either, just like that all the way up. Like what you said.
2 sign copies.
Thank you. Okay, yeah, yeah.
More new business.
Okay, the second item of new business is a request from the town board to review and comment, on a memo sent regarding the resolution.
Oh. Thank
Peter
you.
Houghton, nice
Yeah.
to see you again.
Thank you. Good to see you.
Nice meeting you, Mr. Houghton.
Yeah, nice meeting you all. Renewing my acquaintance with Andy.
yeah.
Good job.
A request from the town board to review and comment on the memo sent regarding resolution 2026-069. Amending the town's zoning code to include definitions for data, and cyber mining centers. Town board is requesting that the BZA provide feedback. We can also, on the draft definitions presented by the town supervisor. Per the code of the town of Ulysses CTU 212-12, the zoning code may be amended by the town board pursuant to local law. Does the town board liaison, are they here? Do we have the liaison here? Okay, no, we're gonna move on without them. My question is, did you get a chance to read these things? My question is, what, to Neil's, I think, what form, what's the desired response they want from us? In what form?
Good question. The planning board just deliberated and we carried it under their minutes. So
Okay.
we're just going to get a copy to the town clerk and Caitlin, the draft minutes.
Okay.
If you want to be more formal, we can do it in a memo, or we can just do it in your minutes, like the planning board.
Okay, great, thanks. What do you guys want? More formal, less formal?
You make the call as chair.
I guess
Just
it
do it
depends on
minutes.
if people have a lot of issues. If they don't, then I'd say minutes are fine, you know? Okay, so let's go. Let's talk about this. Anything? I only had one little thing. But I don't know if we can even answer that because I guess I can make a statement. If we go to the definitions in the accessory data center paragraph, it was kind of odd saying such a use cannot dominate the property or operate as independent, when later on they say principal land use on a property, on a parcel. I'd like to see something a little less squishy than dominate. Some word a little more precise. I'd like to see more precision on all this stuff. Like how much? Principal, dominate,
Numbers.
something, right? Would you, I mean, that was rhetorical, right?
Yeah.
You didn't have to answer that.
No,
But if you want to answer that,
no.
I'm concerned of skirting this issue by saying, oh, well, we're really just a so-and-so, we're a gift shop, and but then we run a data center in the back and it can be not dominate. I mean, who's to say what dominate is and all that? So anyway, I wanted a little more precision on that. But before I dominate this conversation, are you guys in favor of or against data mining? And
Well, so what you're talking about is making a comparison similar to the comparison we make between an accessory dwelling unit and a principal dwelling unit. There's an actual one has to be smaller than the other, and there's a square foot limit
there are
on.
definitions of those, right? Aren't they?
Yeah, like we're trying to make definitions, but the definition set or the zoning says that the accessory cannot be bigger than
Right, that's what.
the principal. And it also says it has a square foot limit. So that's
Good.
something that you're looking for
I
for
would like to
this,
see something, yes.
which I don't know if square footage is that
Well,
important when you're
I wanted
doing
to ask, I
data.
don't know if I'm gonna ask you guys, but I wanna ask you, what's the?
We could just put that in the
desire?
minutes.
What's
That
the
we would,
objective for this? Is it to limit? I mean, I would say you would wanna limit, whether it's dominant or not dominant, you wanna limit the total amount of. Square footage or energy use or water consumption.
yeah, like energy use might be more important than square footage, maybe, or
And
Or-
definitely, number of servers, but the servers get better, thing get, how do you do that? And then dominate the business itself or not, doesn't really do it for me.
I mean, I think the challenge with the definition is that, you could modify the data center definition to be broader, but then you risk that you start to describe some business. I mean, even like, for example, a hospital has
Yeah,
lots of
Absolutely. That's what
equipment,
I was thinking,
and we don't want to necessarily end up saying
limiting that.
you can't have a modern day medical center now, maybe even a physician office as this technology advances, because now you're going to be considered a data center simply because you have some component of it. I think that's probably why they put the words primarily in there, but
Okay, I'd like to see some more precision.
so you're talking about the one that's called an accessory. You want it to be something that makes it clear that it's an accessory.
I wanted
The
to limit
first
it,
one.
I wanna know I wanted to know what the founders of this document objective was. And I think we can clarify a little better if I knew the objective. If it were my objective, I'd say, oh, we need to limit the impact of these places. And the impacts are pretty straightforward in many ways, and in many ways, sometimes it's water, and water can be huge. Almost all the time, it's heat emissions. And almost all the time now, it's energy consumption. So we're dancing around it with these things, and I would like to see some.
Well,
Explain.
just doing definitions though, we're not writing zoning. We're not writing policy, we're just writing definitions.
Well, dominant is not a definition to me.
But so I think in the definition, you could instead, maybe you talk about square footage has to be less and also energy
Well,
use
I
has to
mean,
be
I
less.
like Karen's was in my wavelength a little bit. I don't want to say, speak for you, but I'm thinking, oh, there's a lot of use of AI, and a hospital is a great example of they're going to have to crank out the data. They're going to have to increase the amount of processing they're able to do as things progress. AI is everywhere, and it's not that we can't avoid it. We can't avoid getting on board with it for these big places that need to crank out data. So, I mean, you'll love to have data going out to the real world and getting back and getting information if it's a health issue for you. So I think hospitals was a great example. Doctors' offices, they could be really small, but they could be plugged in
right.
and cranking data all the time. So I just don't know if this reflects the complexities of the new data world and the needs. And I'm not sure that this is completely well thought out. So can I ask you what your statement was that would make me feel better? This is just definition, so it doesn't matter that.
You're talking to me? Or
Sure,
Karen?
you.
Me. Okay, yes, we're writing the definitions, and I'm assuming that in the policy, they'll be using these definitions to somehow direct whether they're built or not, and
Sure,
under what conditions.
yeah.
And they'll either be talking about an accessory data center, and that'll have its own
Yeah,
rules, or a data center will have its own rules.
definition, right? Yeah, you'll
Well, it'll
have
have
to
its
refer
own
to
rules.
the definition when you say data center. Data centers aren't allowed here. You're
Right,
gonna have to refer.
but
to some-
accessory data center might be something that goes with a hospital. So it might be more allowed, but they want
Right.
to use this definition to make sure it doesn't become like a most important thing on the
Right.
property, so we have to just dial that in.
Well, I don't know what the objective was. That wasn't there, the meeting. So I'm not sure I'm gonna make their objective for writing this, but
Well, I think for just making definitions,
yep.
our objective would be to be clear about what the difference between an accessory data center and a data center are. And you wanna do that, that's what you wanna do.
I want to do, I
Yeah.
want clarity, I want.
And you wanna, so I'm saying maybe we could not just say the square footage has to be less than the principal building, but maybe also the energy use has to be less than the
And
principal.
the
building.
water.
And maybe,
Something like that, because it
And
has
the heat.
different,
and maybe there needs to be some clear statement that if something is approved as an accessory data center, if they discontinue their primary use, again, go back to the
Right, right.
hospital, let's say the hospital has an accessory data center and the hospital decides to close,
But the
they can't,
occasional unit stays.
they
right?
can't continue operating the data
Sure.
center independently.
I think they kind of got that, they said operate as an independent principal use. I
Right,
think that would probably
I think you're right.
close that down.
I'm just uncomfortable about the lack of any kind of metrics here.
Well, that's why we're saying it on the tape.
That's why what?
That's why we're saying that's what you want on the tape or on the.
I'm saying,
on
I'm
the
saying I'm
recording.
uncomfortable without any metrics here.
And
And you could say, oh, it's just a small part of this outfit, but the outfit is huge and it's got a huge footprint. It's global in scope or something, I don't want to.
in the building code, in a big building, you can have an accessory use, like you can have an office in your commercial kitchen, and it still can be, the whole thing can still be considered a commercial.
No, I like
kitchen.
that. I think that's the
But it's
thinking here.
10%.
I think, yeah, and I think that's the thinking here, but the
Okay.
percent isn't it, but it's really the effect on everything else, resources and the environment. I think is the thing we should be focusing on.
Right.
And I don't know if we know, it's not my field. I don't know how to say, energy use over so many kilowatt hours or something. I don't think we should be putting a data center up here that's drawing 2/3 of the electricity from the whole area. For instance,
Right.
no, that's too bad. You didn't rule against it. So right now, I think we need to think about coming up with.
I mean, you could come up too with a general policy that says, no individual parcel can consume more than
Any other,
X number of
agreed.
the energy use or
Water, energy, you could say something like that.
Yeah.
right? And so, since I wasn't at the meeting, I don't know what their objective was. Was it to make it easy to have a data center, or was it to make it harder?
Oh, I'm pretty sure it's to make
Me
it
too.
harder.
Me
I mean,
too.
having been part of the
Fracking.
comprehensive
Oh.
planning,
Uh-huh.
I think they're looking across the lake at Lansing and saying,
That's
we want to
right.
prevent what's happened over there. How
That's
do we
right.
do that?
That's a good point, right? I heard that peripherally.
You know, and
It's like,
the
whoa,
sad-
wait a minute.
and this, the unfortunate thing is Lansing is going to benefit from the tax dollars. We have no benefit across the lake from the tax dollars, but we have a similar impact to the
Right.
electric grid and the impact on the water.
Right.
And
We got all the negatives and no positives.
But-
but so what?
but the state officials appear to be approving
Sure.
even beyond what Lansing is doing. So
Sure. Yes, I know. I know, but home rule, local rule, we can make rules here. We can't solve everything else, right? Necessarily. Although we went through the same thing with fracking,
well,
and we
Yeah.
said, no, we're gonna stand against fracking, and other communities used us as an example in their legal cases.
I mean, and then similarly, look what's happened with the salt mine. Again, Lansing benefits from the expanded tax revenue from their expanded salt mining. And I've seen people comment, I don't know whether it's true or not, but people like in Covert Ovid area are concerned that they're feeling and hearing some of the whatever they do with the mining activity.
Uh-huh.
And again, those people have no benefit from the tax dollars, but they're being negatively impacted because Lansing approved the expansion of the mining under the lake.
We're not gonna do that though,
The
are we?
DEC.
Well,
It's
that's
the
for,
state did
yeah.
because the lake belongs to the state.
Right.
All the salt under it.
And going all the way down.
But they're under us. They're under.
Right.
They're us too, right?
Yeah. But I think they recently expanded to the north. They long ago mined under us, but
That's where the water's coming
they
from.
did approve some storage, I think.
Brian.
Yes,
Yeah.
under
Right.
existing abandoned mine.
Okay, yeah, I
The
don't,
upshot, right, is we're looking, hopefully, maybe get some more concise definitions and narrow it down in that instead of broad words like dominate.
dominance and principle and stuff like that. Maybe we should think about, and this is a good time to think about what those are. Water, energy. I mean,
Physical
it's
size,
clear. What?
physical size of the building.
Is noise a problem?
Yes, I mean, they
Is it-
say data centers can be heard up to 4 miles away, depending on how the wind blows.
Whoa,
What
really?
sound do they make?
Of
For
a
cooling.
high pitched
That's
like
good.
vibration.
Is that for cooling?
It-
What's causing that?
I'm not sure if it's the cooling or the computers or a combination of both, but if you look up reports of where other data centers exist, the greatest effect is within the immediate vicinity, but they say it goes pretty far out because it is so loud that
Wow.
you can hear it very far away.
Wow.
That would be so weird to just have that sound forever in here.
Wow. Okay, I think I would say there's 3 components and we already said 2 of them. We didn't say heat, so.
Diesel generators. So
Oh,
they're gonna have
sure.
diesel generators often, air conditioning, the constant hum.
Of course, I mean, you have to air condition the
It
heck
can't
out.
exceed 90 decibels.
Really? Which is a over our limit. in town.
Well, if you're up close to it, you better have
Yeah.
earplugs.
Well, even far away, it's just annoying and it's a,
Yeah, distance.
okay. So noise, should we add to that too?
It sort of
Noise
carries
limits,
across the lake.
I wanna say heat, heat generation out there. Electricity and water. Those 4 things, I think we would benefit greatly by putting real numbers to those and limits. And then you don't have to worry about dominant or undominant.
But I think wouldn't that all be in the policy rather than in the definitions? No?
No, depends who's writing.
Just to answer your question, I'm not confirming that these sources are absolutely valid, but a quick search says that the data center noise is often heard as a low frequency 24/7 hum caused by thousands of cooling fans and backup generators. The most disruptive noise is generally felt within 3,000 feet, creating significant disturbance, headaches, and sleep issues for nearby residents.
And low frequency noise, even if it's lower than you can hear, then you can certainly still feel it in all too.
It's like a factory farm of computers.
So I'm not being too harsh with this one or too critical. But
No,
I want to see.
I mean, I think part of the challenge is that this technology is advancing and changing so quickly
Right.
that, it's hard to anticipate. I mean,
Mhm. By the minute,
yeah,
by the minute, and I'm not being
right.
overly. I
And
think.
I think it's becoming more widespread, which is why I made the point of
Mhm.
right now we're thinking about these large data centers as exemplified by what's at the old power plant. But I can envision this expanding to smaller, multiple data centers as part of other common businesses beyond hospitals. I mean, I don't know exactly what that looks like, but
Yeah.
it seems like
Yeah.
the way technology is advancing, that's a possibility.
Yep. And I think that goes to I'm not saying anything about, well, I'm sure that they're writing it. Who's they? And it's very hard. I mean, I am fortunate enough to be surrounded by super global expertise. in these topics, and they don't even know what's
Right.
gonna happen to them. So
Right.
I don't know who we by they are gonna write a reasonable policy. And how they could be. So I think we're, I guess, charged with looking at the definitions and seeing if we agree with them. No, I don't. I guess I don't.
Staff may, at the direction of the board, further research other municipal examples and provide recommendations. And draft language for further review and deliberation.
What'd you say, Cheryl? I'm sorry.
It just says that they might, staff may, at the direction of the board, which I think they mean our board, because they're asking us. Further research other municipal examples, which I think means other municipalities' definitions.
Mhm.
And provide recommendations and draft language for further review and deliberation, so. Maybe that's what you're kind of requesting, is that they look around a little more, but I don't, I mean, I'd rather have them do it sooner than later, so. You don't want to make them research it to death and not have it.
No, I agree. I don't think you can do everything, and I don't think that everything's necessarily gonna stand for another, year or two. Things are moving so fast.
Yeah, so I think our main point was just. In that one about accessory. The one that's called accessory building, we want it to be more defined. But
I think you could stave off some of the issues by saying limit on water, limit on noise, limit on heat emissions. And limit on electricity usage.
but
I think
are you saying to put that in the
Save this
definitions,
off.
or are you wanting to get involved in the policy?
in the definitions, the data center, and we're gonna call it something or other. Right now, it's like dominant or I don't, it doesn't, these don't do anything for me. Why, do you think this would cover anything? I mean, back to my question, what's the objective of this? Of
They
these
should have
definitions?
definition, that's the objective.
Okay, but poor definitions are not like better than no definitions.
I mean, as long as we're talking about the adequacy of definitions, it seems to me that the cryptocurrency definition is a little bit vague as well.
Little scan type.
Yeah,
thing. I
scan,
looked at that, I was like,
I mean, I'm not an expert in this either, but it does seem like if you're going to define this type of thing, it would be appropriate to seek some expertise other than just going to the AI of the internet.
Well, I
They
agree.
probably did get that from some good
Right,
place, I think.
exactly.
No, I think they probably got it from a good place, it's, you don't wanna get too.
Right.
You don't wanna say too many things, cause then maybe you're.
But are we
blocking
against
out something.
cryptocurrency? I'm back to, I hate to keep saying this. What's the objective? Are we against cryptocurrency? Is that the?
So cryptocurrency mining,
And are
so
we against that or are we against the heat, the
Thinking
noise?
definitions if they were fine with it, right? They just,
Right.
that happened.
I maybe a little bit.
Right, but you keep saying it, so I thought maybe you really don't know or something.
I'm
But
not sure.
But I think, you
But
know,
do we care about cryptocurrency itself or do we care about the heat, the electricity,
yeah, I think
the
that's the
noise
issue. I mean,
and the
because,
water? Isn't that what we care about? Not
Right.
the other stuff.
I mean, currently the concern is the cryptocurrency, but what if with this expansion of technology, it's something else that they're data mining?
Yeah.
Um,
That's right. So we're just gonna hit cryptocurrency and we're whack-a-mole that and something else is gonna pop up.
it's not covered
Yeah, it's
because
not
we were too
cryptocurrency.
explicit with cryptocurrency, and
Yeah,
now,
this kind of seems to be oddly.
now
specific.
it's maybe something else that's gone totally digital.
When in fact we can limit it, we can limit the things that we don't want.
Right.
We don't want.
Right. It's the impact. And some of the zoning already covers that, because I mean, we already have
Noise limits.
requirements for lot size and lot coverage,
That's right.
so, but we don't currently have clarification regarding energy usage and
Water.
water
I think
usage,
there's some in
things
water,
like
is
that.
that true? There might be some in water, but maybe they can happen, no, dependent. That would get at the problem and then get rid of the whole cryptocurrency thing, which seems to be a bit shallow. superficial in its explanation? No, you're not into it, huh?
I'm having a hard time getting where you're coming from and going to, so
Okay,
I'm
my
just.
coming
kinda-
from is I don't
listen.
want to start sucking water to cool down their, whatever they're doing. Put a limit on the amount of water you can use to take away from our town.
Okay, so are you saying that
Two,
in
How much
any building?
energy you can, any building.
Okay,
how
so like
much-
not even have definitions of this, but just limit all,
I think that would
Buildings.
choke it in
I mean, is there any
It's
other
tricky.
example we could think about? Where an industry is very
yeah,
intensive in its use of electricity and water and generating heat. There's probably,
water's a big one.
Yeah, Cornell University.
Cornell.
oh yeah, okay, and that's been
Cornell.
going on forever.
that was hard to get through.
But there are plenty of examples elsewhere, you know, as
Like factory farms, we have rules against that, and I think they do call them out,
they limit the
Directly.
amount of, right?
but I don't know if they do it by limiting the amount of water anything can use, or just by
I
saying
think so. I think there
by agricultural businesses has to be limited.
Mhm. I think they carve out exceptions for some of the agriculture for water. But I don't think that you as a household can just draw tons of, I think there are rules already. So these aren't stepping outside our rules, there's just a couple more. How much heat can you generate? How much noise can you generate? We have rules on that usually.
You know,
And how much
It's
electricity?
in
can
an egg
you
district,
draw?
man.
remember
Egg district.
when we had
They call
public hearings regarding the last zoning,
Yeah,
I remember speaking about concern regarding noise and contamination of air by neighbors. I don't think any of that got put into it, though. I advocated for it, but I don't think it.
well, noise we have, oh, for what? For ag or for other stuff? We have specific noise
What?
stuff. We ran into that with Toganican.
Okay.
There are limits on the
But
decibels.
as far as
whatever, and the,
exhaust pollution,
Yeah.
or I mean, my biggest concern that isn't even covered by this is the expansion of dispensaries, which are contaminating our air so much. You can smell them half a mile away.
oh, yeah.
dispensaries,
Yes, if you go over,
maybe grow operations,
if
maybe.
if you go over to like,
Where they sell them, you mean?
yeah,
just where they
like
sell them?
like Mama said,
Yeah.
pies.
Yeah.
You can smell that place. If you want to go to Wide Awake Bakery, down on 13, you can smell that dispensary
Hmm.
half a mile away as you're driving up towards it.
Hmm.
I
Good nose.
don't believe that.
You can.
Wow.
Well, I can't, and I like them.
I can smell the coffee.
Well, I know that's the problem because you've become deconditioned to the
So
smell.
I
If you're
can smell
someone,
it half a mile away.
if you're someone
Everybody's different, though.
who actually smokes, then you don't recognize how negative of an impact it is on those of us who don't and who recognize the serious health
That's
consequences of those of us who are exposed to users and have no control over.
That's the first time I've heard that, and we're getting way off topic.
Yes.
but First time I've heard that people can smell the dispensary a half a mile away, but
It's just
I know one night I was
You go down
driving,
my street? Do you
I
go
was-
down my street?
no,
Pine Ridge Road where they grow it?
oh, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I went out in
You
the
can
middle of
smell
the
that.
field and took a selfie with
Yeah.
the first, I
Oh, did
drove
you?
by and I was like,
What is that?
Well, it's just like
Hey,
cigarette
everybody.
smoking for years. People who are cigarette smokers don't smell their own odor in their car or their homes.
yeah.
It's the exact same with marijuana, and in fact, it's even more intense.
Okay, but the Gimme Coffee roastery, I can smell at my house when it's roasted.
Yeah, right. I mean,
And that's miles away. It is a
Okay,
big-
but we are getting,
But well, the point
Walking
the
away
point
from-
being is we're broadening this to say, what else is it impacting? Do these centers produce exhausts or odors, etc.?
I don't
And
know.
I'm
I
sorry.
don't know. No, I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
answering the question.
And then also again, not being explicitly picky about data centers, but then let's identify this more generally so we don't get stuck with any businesses that are detrimental to our environment and our health, which I think we really missed the ball on on excluding marijuana facilities from our town. I'm really,
You got
disappointed
two
in that.
In Ulysses, it's
I
kind
know.
of amazing.
and it's horrible.
4,000
It is
people.
horrible. And I wish there was a way that we could change that and make sure we avoid having
But,
any others.
but under what you said, Karen, you could smell the dispensary in Trumansburg everywhere in the village. Because it's within half a mile of the dispensary, you know, and
I can smell it on my street. I know that because they grow.
when they
it, so-
grow it, that's, yeah, but I'm just saying, it seems so.
And I can smell, if somebody is driving by in their car,
Oh, sure, smoke, you mean?
I can smell it.
Sure,
And
me too, I can smell it from a long way away, but not everybody has the same.
Do you smell it right now? Is that me?
I did, no,
All right, so
okay,
definitions, we're not really talking about the definitions so much as we're talking about there should be more ways of regulating something that is potentially hazardous. You know, like we want to say, we want more things in the zoning about smells, water use, noise,
Heat.
heat. So that's our little note along, I mean, that, we're not staying on
So
topic with the
electricity, you said-
definitions, but we're adding. Of course, we're,
But you
Doing
said
our own
it
thing.
nicely, you said not the effects, but where did
the
you?
consequences.
Yeah. Something that fit perfectly, you know. But to me, it's like, yeah, just let's talk about measurements here. We do it already. We already do it in a lot of ways. We do it for noise, we do it for water, I'm pretty sure. What's to keep somebody from sucking down all the electricity that we all, you know, that we're getting brownouts everywhere because of some electricity.
Right. It might not be a data center. It could be some
Anything.
industry that's very energy consuming.
Right. And water would be precious, a precious resource. Sucking out of Tagana Creek and pulling down your basin,
Yeah,
or the aquifer, which is more hidden.
you know, when that nursery started over in Dryden, root production method, RPM.
Yeah,
They got a permit to pull water out of the creek.
lots of water, right?
Lots of water out of that creek, yeah.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, you know, what are our rules around that? And, you know, I've.
And then you could argue right now, I wish there was somebody who was pulling water out of the lake. That would actually be environmentally beneficial right now.
It goes back in.
You're not gonna get me on that one, Karen. Buy into that one.
I mean,
I wish we were not pumping heat in the atmosphere, so we would have these huge storms that we can't control. How about that?
I don't know that that's necessary. I think what we need to do is develop technology that allows us to better control the storms and send them where they're needed, like down to the desert Southwest.
that would be
I
nice.
like it.
Pipelines from the great.
Okay,
Okay.
I have a comment, maybe, can we say that, do we have any feeling that, yes, go ahead with the definitions, but just kind of be a little more specific about the accessory one, but then also because this is the threat on the horizon, so go ahead and get something done, but then also work on this other thing that where you're kind
No,
of,
I think we should get something done, but not this. I think we should get those, let's attack, let's
energy use,
yeah. They're very simple metrics.
in what way?
And this is not simple. This is just clouding the issue and picking on cryptocurrency. In what way? There's a number. You could just say no more than so and so kilowatt hours. You know, it's easy. No more than so and so many metric, you know, tons of water or something.
For any building or any
Yeah. It would
parcel.
put the clamp on these. I mean, that's, I think, said, what's the objective really? Is it to stamp down data centers, you know, is this like, oh, we don't want sex shops in our town? That would be very specific. These are very specific. It really would be the effects of them, the negative effects.
Okay, so they gave us definitions for review and you're like, yeah, no, that's not even bothering.
Well, the
with that.
definitions are not good. Dominant, and they said,
I'm just trying to understand where you're going.
yeah, I think, but I'm not sure where we're going on this avenue. We should talk about what the problem is. What's the objective? The objective would be to reduce the four things we just said. I don't know about smell, I don't think is that an issue?
I mean, it may not be with a data center,
No, that's
but,
what I mean with the data center.
but again, if we're not going to be exclusively focusing on
Oh,
data centers,
I'm with you.
I think,
Odor is a big deal.
Yeah.
Big deal. I lived across the river from Augusta, Georgia. And it was like every time the wind,
well, I mean, look what they're
Came our
dealing with
way, it's
in
like-
Seneca Falls and Waterloo with the odor from the landfill.
oh yeah, if you come from a certain direction and the wind's that way, whoa.
I mean, that you can smell miles away.
miles. Well, same with these were like Brunswick, same thing in Georgia, and all these paper.
So, I
industry.
mean, do we currently, for example, very different type of business, do we allow landfills in town of Ulysses? And
I doubt it.
if we don't explicitly exclude it, it kind of falls under the same category of data center where I think maybe the instruction is we need to think more broadly rather than being reactive. This is clearly reactive to what's going on
Things
across
that we wanna
across the
keep
lake in
happening.
Lansing.
Right.
But then I think that, I'm not a lawyer, but I think that can also look maybe legally inappropriate to be targeting one individual business type. So I think you need to step back and,
I think it's done all the time. This is zoning.
and
We target all sorts of everything. No business districts, none of this, no pornography, I mean, there's no
We-
bars, we
We
do.
could have prevented dispensaries if just.
I know.
Sure, yeah, right, just put it in a zone, that's what zoning is.
right.
I think the, once you cross the line, it's like spot zoning, we just say, no, you can't do that
Right.
right there. It's this little
Right.
spot right there, or you can, because we're gonna.
Right.
all those zoning for-
My point was a little bit different. It's that we should put the rule in place before it's being presented as an issue. And I think that's what they're trying to do
I think that's what
With-
Cheryl's position was.
with
too.
the data center, is that we need to have a rule in place before there's an entity that comes saying
Sure.
we're going to put one here. But my point is then maybe we need to think beyond that and ask what else might we be concerned about that we don't even yet know about. And that's where I think your points about just being a little more
Go back a little bit or go.
general.
Yeah, no, it's true, and that's what the comprehensive plan is for us to
Right.
sit there and talk about these things that are desirable or undesirable, yep. But we're being charged with this, and I just wanna, I wanna push back on this. I wanna hear a little bit more. I don't think I think you're leaving it wide open. Just imagine with those words, how you can get around those words, and so I get your point, better to do something now, but something effective now, not something that has is leakage all over the place, holes. I could get around these.
Yeah,
Dominant, what's dominant? Oh, let me just add another dispensary on the side, and then we're not, it's less than 50%
Right.
of our footprint, of our usage, of our what, dominant in what metric?
Yeah, so I think that's the kind of feedback that they thought we would be getting, is something like that, where we're kind of massaging the language and stuff, or adding.
yeah, tighten up the language.
I'm sorry.
I think that's our overall mission.
Assignment.
Our overall response on this is tighten up these definitions and not have these loose words.
And we
Yeah,
have
but for
suggestions,
years
and I
they were-
have suggestions, to change them from dominance to this much electricity, this much, the 4 big things that we thought.
Specific things, numbers.
Water
right?
usage, yeah.
I think it's probably just more difficult because I know I'm not an expert to tell you what the exact kilowatt should be, for
Right,
example.
right.
So it probably will take more time, effort, money to identify that.
Take about
So
35 seconds on AI, using AI. I'm not kidding, I'm not kidding. You just go out there and say, what are all the other communities in the
Right.
country or the world doing?
Right.
Believe me, I mean, guarantee.
Yeah.
So we
And I
want to
mean
be more
sophisticated AI,
objective,
not,
right?
Yeah.
Bottom line is we want to be more objective, less subjective in the,
that's our bottom line, yeah.
yeah. I mean, there's communities that want data centers. I heard people.
I know, but do we want, so that's what I'm saying.
I don't know if they want one or not, I
Do
don't
we,
think so, but
do we want this here? Is that the objective here,
Yeah,
or is it?
Well,
No,
I think people have largely expressed that they don't want that through some of the hearings related to the comprehensive plan, and so
no,
this
I
is the spark.
actually didn't mean we, it's populace, I mean, we, whoever's writing
Right,
these things.
but again, there are some benefits, because if you have, any multi-$100 million business, boy, that would sure help to reduce property taxes
Would it?
for everyone.
Would it? You show
Maybe.
me the data on that. I have every single time I looked at that, I go, it didn't. All the communities I've looked at, it didn't. As of course, it's always a statement. It's gonna
Right.
broaden your tax base, gonna reduce your taxes.
yeah.
It doesn't, so I wanna see the counter data on that.
Up at the city of Oswego, I heard some folks up there say, complaining because they can't have a data center because they're too close to the nuclear power plants. Within 15 miles of a nuclear power plant.
Really?
That's what I was told, and it was from a former city planner, and they're, the
Well,
plants
then
are,
that's another one.
the plants are at 9 Mile Point, so they're 9 miles east of the city.
I do recall also in some of the hearings, the issue coming up about nuclear power plants, because one has been proposed in Schuyler County.
Yeah.
And I don't think, again, our current zoning explicitly prohibits a nuclear power
One
plant.
was proposed where this site is, before it was a
Right.
coal plant.
Right.
And it was going to be a nuke. And,
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, a long time ago, yeah.
Well, comprehensive plan, that's where it goes. There's this discussion.
Yeah, Dan,
He was one of the,
yep, the old days, yeah.
Are we good in this
Good.
discussion? Sorry. But I agree. I definitely, no, I know you're not mad.
going.
I know you're not mad. I just, I think that when somebody puts something in front of me and says, oh, you need to make a decision on this, I'm like, well, first of all, I disagree with this whole notion of it.
Okay.
And I know it makes you sound like a jerk, or sometimes it sounds combative, but I just see this leading to all sorts of issues. We're getting very specific when there are the problems we really want to address are sitting out there. And we've already addressed some of them. Noise is one. I think water is one already. There's things that we've already done. I'm not sure we have a.
Well, noise we haven't really addressed as it relates to data centers, because I think
No, but
the noise
it's
is like
general.
decibels, but the noise generated by the data
I
centers is this 24/7 low hum that can have very
It's low
significant
frequency sound. is what it
negative
is.
physical consequences, but it's going to be in conformance with like a prohibition that you can't have decibels greater than 90 on your property edge, because they'll argue, well, it's not 90 decibels, but it's this, however you further describe it, this
Yeah.
low decibel,
Right. It cannot be loud at any frequency.
right.
And I bet you the sound pressure level is very high in the low frequencies that you can't hear, and that's what you feel is a hum. But I bet you, so the decibels of that low frequency are probably high. But you're right, you could skirt it by going, oh, we're gonna do 89
Right.
at these frequencies, and we're gonna do 89.5 at the low
Right.
frequencies, but you're still gonna feel that hum.
Right.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
know.
and being on a long, narrow body of water like this,
Oh my God.
affects sound.
Scary, right?
Yeah.
Also, calm days.
You
it's
hear
gonna be
people
bouncing.
out talking on a boat sometimes.
I mean, that's what my greatest concern for the people who live like directly across the lake, who have
Yeah.
zero benefit and all of the
Well,
downside.
How about
of
all
it.
the fish that only sense and feel low frequency sound? Okay, I want to move this along. Is that right?
Move to adjourn.
No, we have one more issue we have to deal with. And I just, I want to make a motion. This is the first item of old business. It's a request from our town planner and town board to select a vice chair to the BZA. Yeah, so quickly, I think. I'd like to make a motion to nominate Cheryl Thompson to become the vice chair of the BZA.
Well, man, I thought it was gonna be cupcakes.
Second,
A second.
Oh, good, seconded. Okay, good. Discussion?
sounds like a good choice.
What about him?
I would love to, but I've got, personal health issues, my family, that I'm not even sure I'll be able to stay on this year. Well, no, but I'm hoping to, I love this. I like working with you all and.
Yeah,
We'll see.
likewise, likewise.
Okay.
All right,
I
so
would, I would
and
try
you've
it.
already indicated that you would be willing to, I'm not forcing this on Cheryl. for
No,
the
I'll,
first time.
but I will give it a try.
You would give it a try, yeah,
But
okay,
I'm not really cut up for this sort of thing, but I wanna,
yeah, you are. That's good. No,
remembering all the right things to
is
say.
that the discussion?
How do you get that?
I make it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna, all right, whatever. I'm just
make it
deputy,
whatever you want, you just follow some
I'm
things.
just
and
a deputy, so I probably don't have to do anything.
Unless I go away, like I might, my friend just called and said, hey, we're going to Costa Rica, we need to, maybe teach us how to do stuff.
All right, well, if you would have to tell me how to.
I would, oh, of course. Good, discussion over? Can I call this the vote? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Congratulations, Sean.
What'd you say? Did you aye?
Oh, do I?
You don't have to, no, you can say that. Then you can.
Hi.
Good, yeah, good. See, that's nice. Okay, it's unanimous.
Okay.
Motion carries.
All right.
Thank you very much.
If I can't deal with it.
Well, sure, you can always have stand-ins and stuff.
Here's your-
Go to the day, right?
How unofficially help.
Okay, now,
Well, yeah, and that's what everybody else does, so everybody helps. You don't have any holy meetings. Thank you, thanks.
Thank you. Thank you guys for the confidence in me that.
Definitely. You know, David? Tyler?
yeah,
Yeah, do you remember when somebody said, well, we need to go to vice chair, and he's like, well, so and so, we're talking, and everybody's going, yeah. Well, I think Steve should do it, yeah, and then David Tyler goes. Well, I don't know anything about who this is at all, but I want that guy to do it. And everybody's like, okay, done. Do you remember? And we
No.
did that. Funny. Okay, we want that guy to do it. Thank you. Move to adjourn,
to
anybody?
adjourn.
Second.
Call the vote. Yes,
Aye.
I.
I thank you, everybody. Really, good one.